Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today, sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators. So we still have some work to do here as we are 9th in the East, so we're gonna need to start getting some wins. Now, near the end of the last video, I mentioned that I might want to try to go for a defenseman that can put up some points, because all of my D-man have kind of slowed down in that regard, so we kind of need somebody that can generate points from the back end. I looked at what was available on the trade block and there was nothing interesting. The most interesting guy was Matthew Schneider, and he's 37. So I went out of my way and I identified a defenseman that I would like to bring on the team. He's a decent defenseman, and I believe that he would help the team offensively. So I made an offer. We're gonna see in a few days what they have to say about the offer that I made, but hopefully they're gonna say yes. So I'm not gonna set it just yet, but you're gonna get to see who it is there pretty soon. I'm not going for a 5-star defenseman or anything like that. I'm going for a decent, good, youngish defenseman. So that's pretty much what I did here for now. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. We have the month of December 2007 ahead of us, so it looks like we're gonna be playing on the road most of the month, so that's going to be a little challenging. Alright, so we are about to play the New York Rangers, and the Rangers are struggling. They are 7-17-1 this season. That's good for 13th in the East. However, we are 1-1 against them this year. Let's see if we can beat them. We are playing this one at home. After that, we're hitting the road. Alright, so the Rangers are going to be sending Henrik Lundqvist in net, and we are going with Ryan Miller. Go Sens go! And we won 5-1. Good start to the month. Good win. We did outshoot the Rangers 56-21. Zdeno Chara was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Jason Spezza was the second star with 2 assists. And Pavel Datsyuk was the third star with 2 goals. We had 17,954 people in attendance for this game. And we took a pretty commanding lead there in the first period. So first it was Michael Ryder scoring his 5th on the power play from Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton. Then Pavel Datsyuk from Sheldon Souray and Zdeno Chara. Then Chara scored short-handed from Patrick Eves and Jordan Leopold. Then Brooks Laich from Patrick Elias and Jason Spezza, and it was 4-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Pavel Datsyuk scored on the power play from Martin Havlat and Patrick Elias, made it 5-0 Sens. And then the Rangers scored, made it 5-1, and that was our final score. Nobody scored in the third period. And there was a fight between Zdeno Chara and Dennis Weidman. Wow. Right, Scott Hartnell has a strong game playing for Nashville. He had 4 goals and an assist against Montreal. Nice. And in that same game, Martin Straka had a goal and 4 assists. Memorable game for Petteri Numelin in Chicago. He had 4 assists against the Blues. Eugene Melnyk is happy with my work as a general manager. We did a lot better last month. We went 10-3-1, so that's a little bit more like it. A little bit more according to what we are used to. We are used to greatness. Yeah, usually when they take a few days to answer to your trade offer, they usually reject it. They usually say yes right away when they want it. Brian Rolston has tallied 300 goals in his career. He had a goal against Atlanta. So 34 years old Brian Rolston, still a 2.5 star player. Alright. Oh, wow. Okay, there's quite a few players available here. So there's Jason Arnott. Wow. So Jason Arnott has really gotten bad, I guess. He's 33 and he's a alpha star, player. Matthias Johansson in Philly. Sean Bates is available. Marco Tuoco is available, and Brad Lukovic. Sadly, none of them are defensemen that are good with the puck. And Atlanta said, no way. Alright, so I was offering Chris Kelly for Tobias Enstrom. I cannot agree to this trade, but it's close to being alright. Alright, let's see if I can add a sweetener in there. Oops. Would probably help if I look at my players. Here, I'm gonna give you the rights to Jim O'Brien with that. Alright, so let's see if they want to trade me, Jim O'Brien, for Chris Kelly and Jim O'Brien. If not, I'm gonna leave it at that. Alright, so we are about to play the Tampa Bay Lightning, who is by far the worst team in the East. They are struggling mightily. They are 4-17-5. We have not played Tampa Bay this year so far. Let's take a look at their lineup. And it's going to be in Tampa Bay. We're starting a pretty long road trip here. Alright, so no injuries. So that should be pretty much what they have here. Oh yeah, that team is struggling with talent. So they have Alex Old and Koshechkin in net. Paul Mara, Pavel Kubina, Savananen, Marc-Andre Bergeron, Dmitry Bykov, Bryce Salvador, Francis Bouillon, and Kurt Sauer on D. That's not that great. Serge Aubin, Benoit Brunet, 39 years old. Benoit Brunet still playing in the NHL. Rob Klinkhammer, who played for a very short time with the Sens in real life. Dana Tyrell, Karitonov, Olsen, Damon Lenko, Tarnowski, Perrin, Le Cavalier, McDonald, Richards, and Wanvig. Oh boy, yeah. Ugh. Yeah, that team is struggling. Probably would be a pretty interesting challenge to pick them up right now to try to build them back up. They do have two interesting pieces. They have Brad Richards and Vincent Le Cavalier, but they really don't have much else. Alright, so Ryan Miller is going to be in net for us, and Vasily Koshechkin is going to be in net for Tampa Bay. And we won 3-1. We outshot Tampa Bay 59-14 in that one. Chris Kelly was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Vincent Le Cavalier was the second star with an assist. And Patrick Eaves was the third star with 2 assists. So we took a 2-0 lead into the first period. Pavel Datsyuk scored his 10th from Patrick Eaves and Chris Kelly. And then Jason Spezza scored on the power play from Mark Stride and Joe Thornton. And it was 2-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Tampa Bay scored to come to within a goal. But in the third, Chris Kelly scored from Patrick Eaves and Michael Ryder. 3-1 is the final score. Excellent passing leads to productive night for Nicholas Lidstrom, who had 4 assists against Montreal. Wow, that's second player in not too long that has a great game against Montreal. I like it. Alright, Mike Fisher should be back from injury soon-ish. And we are now about to play against the Florida Panthers. So Florida is 13-13-1. That's good for 10th in the East. We are 0-1 against Florida. We lost 3-1 at home against them earlier this season. And we're going to go to Brian Elliott for that one, and he's going to face Jason LeBarbera. And we lost 2-1, so we are having problems with the Florida Panthers this season. We outshot Florida 34-21. Christian Uzelius was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with an assist. And Ryan Kessler was the third star with an assist. So nobody scored in the first period. Then in the second period, we actually opened up the scoring. It was Sheldon Souray from Pavel Datsyuk. It was 1-0 at that point. But the Panthers scored twice in the third period and ran away with the win. With the game winner scored with 36 seconds left to go in the third period. So that's a backbreaker right there. No suspension for Matt Cook. It'll come, don't worry. Alright, so playing for Philadelphia. Tony Amonte played in 1,250 games now with New Jersey still. He's been traded quite a while ago. 37 years old, Tony Amonte, still a star-and-a-half player. And he did get an assist in that game against the Bruins. Brian McCabe is back from suspension in LA. So, yeah, he has that terrible... He's not playing all that well anymore. Looks like I read the future when I decided to not keep him. Alright. Okay, well, they don't want that trade. They don't want it. I can't force it. Right, Tim Gleason is... Levante Super is available. And Frederick Norena also available. So, 2 goaltenders. Okay, he's day to day, so I'm not gonna do anything about it. Alright, Kent McDonald is back from suspension in Tampa Bay. And we are about to play the Dallas Stars. So the Stars have a pretty decent record. They are 17-11-1. And we have not played them so far this year. Let's take a look at their lineup. Oh, David Clarkson plays in Dallas and he is hurt, so he's not going to play this game. Also hurt is Nico Kapanen, but he may or may not play. And in net, it's Ed Belfour and Mike Smith. So Ed Belfour, 42 years old, still playing. Jamie Ewart, Brian Allen, Andrew Alberts, Trevor Daley, Dimitri Kalinin. Oh, Kalinin is in Dallas. Niskanen, Rushan Soleil, Undi. So it's an okay D, but it's not super mobile. It's a lot of defensive defensemen. But it's definitely better than what they used to have. They used to be really bad on D. Jussi Jokinen, Danny Eatley, James Neal, Pessanen Lundqvist, which is Henrik Lundqvist's twin brother, Joel, Brendan Moreau, Lindgren, Iginla, Emsky, Axelson, Thorburn, and Wes Walls. They have a decent team. Preparing the after Modano era because he retired. Alright, so Ryan Miller in net for us and Mike Smith in net for the Stars. And we won that one 3-1. Ooh, we outshot the Stars 65-12. Jason Spezza was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals. Aleshemsky was the second star with an assist, and Patrick Eliash was a third star with 2 assists. So we took a 2-0 lead into the first period. Jason Spezza from Brooks Like and Patrick Eliash. Then Zdeno Chara from Sheldon Souray and Marian Osa. It was 2-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Jerome McGinley scored on the power play to make it 2-1. But in the third period, Jason Spezza scored from Patrick Eliash, made it 3-1, and that was the final score. Ooh, that's the second Philadelphia player that's been looked at but not suspended. This time it's Denius Zubrus. Mike Fisher is about to be back. Alright, and we are going to be playing in Carolina in 4 days, so we have a little bit of a break here on the road. Peter Schaefer has a strong game playing for San Jose. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against Buffalo. James Wisniewski has a good game. He had 4 assists against the Flames. Pretty good. Mike Fisher about to be back. That's good. Tony Granato on his way out, so he might be losing his job as coach of the Buffalo Sabres. So Buffalo is 10-17-1, so they're kind of struggling, and Tony Granato might pay the price. Alright, Mike Fisher is ready. Oh, and Patrick Elias is hurt, and he's day-to-day. 2 months. With a severe calf laceration suffered during practice. Oh, so that's a dilemma here. I can let him play with the injury, and then he risks getting hurt further, and it can, affect his ability. Or I can put him on injured reserve. I think I'm going to make him play through it. If he gets injured further, he gets injured further. But even Patrick Elias slowed down with an injury is probably better than my replacement, which probably would be Kegorodov. So let's bring Mike Fisher back. Let's send Kegorodov back down. There you go. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he gets hurt further. I hope not, but... Alright, Tim Gleason should be back soon. And we are about to play the Hurricanes. So Carolina is 13-16-2. That's good for 11th in the East. And we are 0-1 against the Hurricanes this season. They did beat us at home earlier this season. We're going to go to Ryan Miller in net, and we're going to face Cam Ward. And we won 3-1. We outshot Carolina 29-21. Patrick Elias, playing hurt, was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Mikael Nylander was the second star with an assist, and Zdeno Chara was the third star with a goal. Wow. So all the action happened in the first period. Like, there were 3 penalties. They were all in the first period, and all 4 goals were scored in the first period. Nothing in the second and nothing in the third, except probably for shots on goals, obviously. Alright, so we open up the scoring. It was Zdeno Chara from Pavel Datsyuk and Mark Streit. Then Anton Volchenkov from Marian Hossa and Patrick Elias. Then Carolina scored. And then Brooks Laich from Patrick Elias made it 3-1. And as I already explained, absolutely nothing else happened the rest of the game. So 3-1 is the final score. Alright, Tim Gleason again about to be back in action, fully healed. And we're about to play against Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh is doing really well. They are 23-6-1, which is good for first in the East. We are 0-1 against the Penguins. We did lose 2-1 earlier this season at home against them. Let's see if we can beat them on their own ice. Ryan Miller is going to be in net for us. Marc-Andre Fleury is going to be in net for Pittsburgh. And we lost 4-3. So another tight game against Pittsburgh. We outshot them 48-39. Sidney Crosby was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with 2 goals. And Jaromir Jagr was the third star with an assist. So Pittsburgh opened up the scoring in the first period. And it was 1-0 after 1. Then at the start of the second, they scored again, made it 2-0. And then we scored. It was Pavel Datsyuk from Joe Thornton and Jason Spezza. And then Pittsburgh scored 2 more goals, and it was 4-1 Pittsburgh after 2. Didn't look too good for us. We did score twice in the third period. Marian Hossa scored on the power play from Martin Avlat and Matt Stajan. And Pavel Datsyuk from Michael Ryder made it 4-3. But there was 1 minute 5 seconds left to go at that point, and we were not able to get the tying goal. Scott Thornton is available, not picking him up. Memorable night for Zach Parise, who had a hat-trick against Boston. And Tim Gleason is fully healed. Alright, Curtis Foster, Byron Ritchie, and Yuri Novotny are all available, so Montreal is cleaning house, I guess. They're sending a bunch of players down. Alright, Ilya Kovalchuk has a strong game. He had a goal and 4 assists against Toronto. Pretty good game. And speaking of the Thrashers, we are about to play against them at home. So we are back at home. We've struggled against Atlanta this year. We've lost both games against them so far, and they are 20-10-1, which is good for 4th in the East. So Kari Lehtonen is going to be in net for Atlanta. We're going to Ryan Miller. And we won 1-0, so pretty tight game. We outshot Atlanta 54-27. Ryan Miller was the first of the game with 27 saves and the shutout. Kari Lehtonen was the second star with 53 saves in the loss, and Dennis Seidenberg was the third star despite not getting any point. We had 16,808 people in Ottawa for this game, and we had to wait all the way to the third period to see somebody score a goal, and it was Joe Thornton from Pavel Datsyuk. That was the only goal of this game. Brian Campbell is suspended in Buffalo. He's going to miss 2 games. Mikael Nylander has accomplished 500 assists in his career with an assist against Philadelphia. So 35 years old, Mikael Nylander is still 2.5-star player, so still pretty decent. Ooh, the Phoenix Coyotes have claimed Curtis Foster from the waivers from Montreal. And we're playing we're back on the road for a couple games. We're going to be in Boston here in a couple days. Joe Pavelski extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal against Anaheim. Alright, and we are going to be playing the Boston Bruins now. So Boston is doing pretty good. They are 19-10-3, which is good for 1st in our division and 3rd in the East. We are 1-1 against Boston, so we did get 3 points out of 4 against them this season. Let's see if we can beat them in Boston. Ryan Miller is going to be in net for us, and Yevgeny Nabokov is going to be in net for the Bruins. And we won 3-0, so a little shutout here for Ryan Miller. We outshot the Bruins 41-14 in that one. Brooks Laich was the first star of the game. He had an assist. Marian Hossa was the second star with an assist as well, and Mike Fisher was the third star with an assist as well. Right, so we open up the scoring in the first period with Anton Volchenkov scoring from Marian Hossa and Mark Streit, and then Andre Meszaros from Brooks Laich and Mike Fisher. It was 2-0 Suns after 1. And then nobody scored until the third period, where Tim Gleason found the back of the net, assisted by Pavel Datsyuk and Joe Thornton. 3-0 was the final score. Oh, that's not good. So Ryan Miller got hurt, and he's going to miss 4 weeks. Well, I didn't need that. Alright, so I guess Ray Emery's going to come to back up Brian Elliott. Oh, that's going to make things interesting. Alright, strong game for Patrick Arnquist in Nashville. He had 4 goals and an assist against the Wild. Oh, Andrei Markov in Montreal is hurt. He's going to miss 5 weeks. Todd White is back from suspension in Montreal. Jaromir Jagr extends his assist streak to 8 games with 2 goals and 2 assists against the Rangers. Chris Kunitz extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Sharks. And in that same game, Andy McDonald extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had 2 assists in that game. And Andy McDonald's assist streak ended at 8 games. Didn't get a point against the Colorado Avalanche. Alright, so we are about to play the Thrashers again. So we are now 1-2 against them. We just beat them 1-0. So now they are 21-11-1 and are so 4th in the East. So we are going Ryan Miller-less against the Atlanta Thrashers. So we're going to turn to Brian Elliott, and he's going to face Kerry Lehtonen. So we have struggled with Elliott in net this season, so that scares me a little bit. And we lost 3-1. Alright, so we outshot the Thrashers 35-25. Braden Coburn was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Marian Osa was the second star with an assist. And Toby Enstrom, who could have played for us, scored a goal and is the third star. Alright, so second period saw Atlanta score first, so they were up 1-0. Then we tied it up in the third period, and Mark Streit scored from Marian Osa and Zdeno Chara. It was tied at 1, but then we allowed 2 goals. And that was it, we lost 3-1. Jaromir Jagr extends his assist streak to 9 games. He had 2 assists against the Bruins. And then there's been a trade between the Canucks and the Sharks. Oh, Willie Mitchell and Pavel Bure. Pavel Bure is 36 years old and he's an alpha star now. He's not the Russian Rocket no more. So, yeah, Willie Mitchell and Pavel Bure go to San Jose for Joey Tennute and Nick Petricki. Tennute got some stats behind him. I was gonna say that Vancouver got the better player. I mean, I was gonna say San Jose got the better player by getting Willie Mitchell, but Tennute's been playing pretty well, so I don't know. Undetermined. Campbell's suspension ends, so Brian Campbell back in the lineup with the Sabres. Jaromir Jagr extends his point streak to 12 games with 2 goals against the Islanders, but his assist streak ended at 9 games because while he did get 2 goals, he didn't get any assists. Alright, we are about to host the Chicago Blackhawks. So, Chicago's doing alright. They are 17-12-4, so that's a decent record. And we have not played them so far this year, so let's take a look. So Jim Slater is hurt, and so is Dan Cleary. So they are both going to miss this game. And in net, it's Corey Crawford and Scott Clemenson, so that's a pretty competent duo of goaltenders. And then Kent Huskins, Duncan Keith, Kim Janssen, Darren Quint, Nathan Dempsey, James Wisniewski, Brent Seabrook, Numelin, and Johansson on D. There's quite a few decent D in there. Jim Dowd, Tumo Rutu, Ethan Morrow, Payat Boland, Taves. Oh, Yeah, Jonathan Taves is going to be good for a long time. Lassie Perrietta, Troy Brower, Patrick Kane, Martin Jelena, Mikko Koivu, and Jack Kelly. That's a decent team, and Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves are going to be good for a long time too, so they are both 19 years old. Right, so Scott Clemenson is going to be in net for Chicago, and we are going to Brian Elliott. Oh, we won this one 6-1. Good job. So we outshot Chicago 54-22. Martin Havlat was the first star. He had 2 assists. Brooks Lake was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Marian Osa was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. We had 14,630 people in attendance for this game. So Pavel Datsyuk opened up the scoring in the first period on the power play from Jason Spezza, and it was 1-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, Joe Thornton scored his 10th from Martin Havlat, and then Chris Kelly scored from Sheldon Surrey, made it 3-0 after 2. Then in the third period, Chicago scored, and then we scored 3 goals. So Ryan Callahan from Martin Havlat made it 4-1. Marian Osa from Brooks Lake and Mike Fisher, and then Brooks Lake from Marian Osa and Zdeno Chara. 6-1 was the final score here in Ottawa. Ivan Hummel is available. A big game for Scott Hartnell again. He had a hat-trick against the Kings. Shane Doan has played 1,000 games in his career already. Celebrated with a goal against Vancouver. 31 years old, 2.5-star player. So we haven't heard a lot about Shane Doan. He hasn't had like a lot of great games or anything. Right, and we are about to play the Rangers again. It's going to be at Madison Square Garden in New York. So they are still 14th in the East. They are 10-23-2. We are now 2-1 against them this season. We do need a win again. So let's beat on them. So, Ray Emery is going to get his first NHL start, and he's going to face David Leneveux. And we won 42. Good job, Razor. So we outshot the Rangers 64-15 in that game. Mike Fisher was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Jonathan Chichu for the Rangers was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Brooks Lake was the third star with 2 assists. So Sheldon Surrey opened up the scoring in the first period from Pavel Datsyuk and Joe Thornton. And then the Rangers tied the game. So it was tied at 1 after 1. And then in the second period, Marian Osa scored his 5th from Anton Volchenkov and Mike Fisher. It was 2-1 Sens after 2. At the start of the third, the Rangers tied the game, made it 2-2, but then we scored 2 goals in 13 seconds. Mike Fisher scored first from Brooks Lake, and then Patrick Eves from Zdeno Chara and Brooks Lake. And 42 was the final score. Jaromir Jagr's point streak ended at 12 games. Didn't get a point against Boston. Alright, and it's about to be Christmas. Merry Christmas! Oh, 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 oh. I hope you all have been nice people and not naughty. You don't want coal in your stockings. Alright, so... Alright, we are about to play the Buffalo Sabres. And that's going to be in Buffalo. So Buffalo's, as we saw earlier, because Tony Granato is about to lose his job over there, Buffalo is 12-21-1. That's good for 12th in the East. And we are 2-0 against the Sabres this year. So only 3 games left here in December. So this month has been going pretty fast. Alright, so we are back with Brian Elliott in net, and Tim Thomas is gonna face his former team. He hasn't been beating us much, if at all. Oh, well, he just beat us. 43 in overtime, so we lost that one. We still get a point at least. And it was in the shootout. So we outshot Buffalo 44-28. Joe Corvo was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Brooks Laich was the second star with an assist, and Michael Rusifel was the third star with a goal. Mariano opened up the scoring in the first period from Brooks Laich and Zdeno Chara, but then Patrick Marleau and Michael Rusifel both scored for Buffalo, made it 2-1 after 1. Then in the second period, Buffalo scored again, made it 3-1. We came to within 1 with Zdeno Chara scoring from Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton. It was 3-2 after 2. And then in the third period, Mike Fisher tied the game from Anton Volchenkov and Patrick Eaves, and it was tied at 3. Nobody scored in overtime, and then only one person scored in the shootout, and it was Brian Campbell. Alex Ovechkin lights the lamp. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Tampa Bay. Right, and we are about to play the Islanders at home. Islanders are not doing very good. They are 10-20-5. That's good for 13th in the East. And we are 1-0 against the Islanders this season. Alright, so Roberto Luongo is going to be in net for the Islanders. We are going to Ray Emery. And we won 5-2. Good job for Emery. He's giving us W's. That's what matters. We outshot the Islanders 49-17. Jason Spezza was the first star. He had 3 assists. Joe Thornton was a second star with 3 assists as well. And Anton Volchenkov was a third star with an assist. 15,904 people in attendance for this game. And we took a 2-0 lead into the first period with Mike Fisher scoring his 5th from Mariano and Anton Volchenkov. Then Zdeno Chara scoring his 5th as well on the power play from Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton. So it was 2-0 after 1. Then Chris Kelly scored his 5th as well on the power play from Joe Thornton and Jason Spezza. And then Datsyuk from Spezza and Thornton. It was 4-0 Sens at that point. The Islanders scored, made it 4-1. And then in the third period, Matt Stajan scored his first NHL goal from Sheldon Souray and Martin Havlat. And then the Islanders scored again, made it 5-2, but it was too little too late, as 5-2 is how this game ended. And Sheldon Souray is hurt. 1 to 2 weeks. Alright, I'm going to need to recall somebody. So we're going to put Sheldon Souray on the injured reserve. Then we're going to take a look at who's doing good down here. So we have Mark Fistrick. Let's call back Chris Phillips. He's never really developed for us. Alright, Sean Morrison is available. I always thought it was a weird way to spell Sean Morrison. No missed time for Washington's Patrick Dwyer. So no suspension for him, which means we're going to face him tomorrow, because that's our last game in December is against the Caps. Alright, so Semyonov and Bruno Gervais are both available. Okay. Alright, so the Alex Ovechkin and the Capitals are in town. They are really good. They are 26-9-3 by now. That's good for second in the East. And we are 1-0 against the Caps this season. Let's see if we can beat them again. Tuukka Rask is going to be in net for Washington. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 3-0. Alright, good way to end the month and the year. We outshot Washington 36-25. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Marian Hossa was the second star with 2 assists. And Joe Thornton was the third star with 2 assists as well. 17,708 people in attendance for this game in Ottawa. Alright, so Jason Spezza opened up the scoring in the first period. It was his 15th of the season from Joe Thornton and Marian Hossa. So 1-0 after 1. Then we scored twice in the second period. Anton Volchenkov scored short-handed from Ryan Callahan and Pavel Datsyuk. And then Pavel Datsyuk scored his 15th from Joe Thornton and Marian Hossa. 3-0 was the final score. Alexander Radulov improves at center. That's good. I don't mind if you start becoming a center. That's fine with me. Alright, so we have a couple days to go before it is January 1st. Brendan Shanahan has arrived at 1,500 games played. Didn't get a point against Dallas. 38 years old, still a 2-star player. Andrew Ference with the Islanders got suspended. He's going to miss 2 games. Oh. So Tony Granato lost his job in Buffalo, and he's going to be replaced by Paul Holmgren. Sidney Crosby keeps fans on their feet all night. He had a hat-trick against Buffalo. Oh, that's the game that had Tony Granato lose his job. Mark Recchi has 1,500 points in his career. Got an assist against Tampa Bay. 39 years old, 2.5-star player. Vitaly Vishnevsky is available. Wow, he has a I kept it. I'm not picking him up. Suspension for Brian Wilsey with the Kings. He's going to miss 7 games. No suspension for Philadelphia's Adam Pardy. Not suspended. That's a lot of Philadelphia players that avoided suspension this month. No suspension for Montreal's Derek McKenzie. Still in the lineup over there. Doug Waite has played in 1,250 games. So he is 36 years old, 2-star talent still. Did that against Montreal, but did not get a point. Alright, and Josh Holden in Vancouver is not suspended. Alright, and the player poll results. So the best skater is Jaromir Jagr. The hardest shot is Brent Burns. The smartest player is our own Marian Hossa. The toughest is Fraser McLaren playing for San Jose. Fastest is Sidney Crosby. The best role model is Joe Sakic. Cleanest is Thomas Fleischmann. Toughest going to beat is Roberto Luongo. And the coach you'd most like to play for is Joel Quenneville in Minnesota. Alright, and one more click to be on January 1st. Dion Phaneuf extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had a goal and an assist against Vancouver. Alright, and recently acquired Willie Mitchell, now with the Sharks, is hurt and he's going to be missing 6 months due to a broken kneecap. Alright. Right, and the players of the month play both for the same team. So Sidney Crosby and Marc-Andre Fleury in Pittsburgh are both the offensive and goaltending player of the month of December. So again, we didn't do too bad, but we also didn't dominate that much. So we are 6th in the East. So that's a better position than we started with, but we still have work ahead of us. So Sheldon Surrey, Ryan Miller, and Patrick Elias are all hurt. Elias does play hurt. So we're gonna take a look here at the standing. So we're 6th in the East. In the West, we have Detroit. That's first. Edmonton, Dallas, Nashville, Colorado, Columbus, Anaheim, and San Jose are the top 8 in the West. Yeah, and Tampa Bay is by far the worst team in the league with 19 points in 39 games. The second worst team. Oh wow. The four worst teams in the league are all in the East. So the East is not very competitive apparently. Alright, so we're gonna take a look at our stats, and I don't think it's gonna be that awesome. Alright, so Joe Thornton is not a point per game anymore. He has 37 and 38. Spezza is 36 and 38. Datsuk is 30 and 37. Elias is 24 and 33. And then it really starts to dwindle down. Zdeno Chara is our best defenseman for points with 14 and 38. So that has really slowed down there. Mark Streit is really not playing all that great anymore. He had a couple really good seasons for us, but he's really fallen off the surface of the earth, basically. Alright, so we are going to take a look at the entire league and see who is the best at something. Alright, so Jeff Carter is the best goal scorer. He has 30 goals on this season. Nick Backstrom is the best passer with 38 assists. And Jeff Carter is the best scorer with 53 points. We don't even have anybody in the top 12, which is, you know, that has been a long time since that has happened. And look who's first for the plus minus. Daniel Alfredson, whom I just traded to Detroit. Oh wow, he's having one heck of a season. 20 goals already for Alfie. Only 9 assists, also 29 points in 37 games. Maybe I should have held on to Alfredson. Oh well, I made decisions. Alright, so that's where we're at. Here at the turn of the year, so the calendar turns to 2008 now, and of course the next time that we do a video, it's going to be for January of 2008. Hopefully I can find some help on the back end to get some points. I'll reevaluate and see who I might want to get, and I might try to do another trade offer. Alright folks, that's it for today, so I do want to thank you for tuning in, and if you've liked the video, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff, and until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.